And we are live. How's everybody doing? Special guest today, and I don't do this that much on this channel anymore, basically because YouTube hates me. But I am very pleased to have Starsan on. Please introduce yourself. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them about your social medias. Whatever information that you need that they should know about you, please tell them.
Hi everyone, my name is Starsan. My real name is Cassandra. I get that question a lot, and my nickname's Cassie, spelled with a Y. That's one of the few things I get angry about. If anywhere you find me, if you look up Starsan, it's either me or a cleaning company. So if you see this hair on a character, it's me. You can find me on Instagram as Lady Starsan, YouTube as Starsan. You can find me on TikTok, Lady Starsan. It goes on from there. But if you go to my YouTube and to my link tree, all of my information is there. I've been on the internet for years, just under the radar. And also,
Outstanding. Yes, please.
You guys like my clothing today? By the way, I get this question a lot in my things. This is by No System, and they have a lot of really good merchandise. And every time you buy from them, you help me out a little bit. So just saying, go to nosysnos.com. You're gonna love the stuff there. There's a lot of really great stuff, including Let's Go Brandon merchandise.
So that's something we'll talk about here shortly, because I think to a certain degree, like you probably get pigeonholed fairly decently as somebody that sits on the left side of the political aisle. Why do you think that is? And first of all, I'm not even saying where you sit, but why do you think that is?
So I have been a lifelong Republican, but the problem is I don't look like a Republican. So I've always been not always. So roughly around the time I hit puberty, I got really chubby. But I've always been a very aesthetic person, as the kids say. So I've always loved rainbows and unicorns and fluffy colors and all the pretty stuff. And so as a result, I always dressed the part. I was that kid in high school who had 50 million necklaces. I wore the fairy shirts. I had 3.5 feet of hair. And as a matter of fact, as my law teacher put it in high school, he said, she walked in and I thought I had my perfect little liberal fairy. And then she opened her mouth and Rush Limbaugh came out. And so
you're Rush Limbaugh conservative.
Especially back in high school, I was hyper Republican, and people just don't expect that because I think the problem is we really do still hold on to that monolith idea. When you think Republican, an image comes into your mind. And when you see someone like me, I very much read off as a leftist because I've got the multicolored hair and I wear some folks put it, the garish makeup, and I have the stars and the rainbows and everything. So I really do think the problem is that we have told ourselves you can't enjoy certain things if you're a certain political way. And I just refuse to be told what I can and cannot enjoy.
That's awesome. I found this to be the last 2 years has been very interesting for me, because I've always actually kind of leaned a little left, just to be honest. I've voted all over the political spectrum before, and to me, that's how people should be more than anything, because I don't know anybody that actually has true ideals of I believe everything the Republicans say, I believe everything the Democrats say, and when they do, I find those people to be rather poor critical thinkers, because critical thinking is not about far left, far right. That's where critical thinking is absent. But my wife and I both in 2016, we kind of just shut the news off, and focused on the businesses and health and shit like that. And then all of a sudden in 2019, we turned the news back on, and because the businesses were doing good.
Sabbatical.
Yeah, no kidding, But honestly, it was a very eye-opening thing, because I would say before then we leaned more left, and then all of a sudden I turned the news back on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Watching people openly lie. And the reason why I turned off politics was because how Bernie Sanders because I wasn't even going to vote for him, but how they snubbed him in the nomination. Like they illegally snubbed him. It was robbery, you know. And it's
They were
openly like I
stupid.
yeah, I mean like they clearly chose their candidate not in an electoral process, you know. And so I was like, fuck it. I mean, we're going to focus on us. We're going to do us, and that's what we did. And then but then you realize it's like kind of a huge mistake because all this shit really does matter. But then when you turn it back on, the rhetoric, like no, it's like both sides went so far as to be like they're they're not even speaking reality, you know. But
It's exceedingly polarized
I
these days.
yeah, exceedingly. But I will say this, like we didn't leave like we didn't get farther right. We kind of stayed where we were because we were absent from that vacuum. We were not susceptible to all of the rhetoric that happened in 3 years. So we kind of stayed where we were in thoughts. Like I'm a big believer that there should be term limits. I'm a big believer that there should be some sort like if we're going to have health care that people pay insurance every single month and have to pay insurance every single month. Like I hated the Obama mandate, like the insurance mandate. To me, because I worked in healthcare forever, that was a gift to the insurance companies because when they don't actually when you have to buy insurance, but then they can charge whatever they want. They just get more customers. It doesn't actually help. There's no incentive for them to lower their pricing, you know?
No, I
So
100% agree.
I was against that, but I am very much towards preventative health care and like we should do things like make sure that like we can get yearly checkups done, scans, those sorts of things, because prevention is better health care than actually taking care of someone else's health. So I have stuff all across the line. I absolutely 100% believe that we should put pedophiles to death. I mean like that was one of the things where
Chopping
even when
block,
we yeah,
immediate.
I mean
No
I
pesto, no collect 200. Like, I'm
and so
sorry.
there right alone, like I can't be considered a Democrat because I'm a staunch believer in the Second Amendment. It shall not be infringed. But I do have I don't see how marijuana was ever illegal. I mean I don't see how it was. Like you're gonna tell me I can't grow a fucking plant? You know,
And I see
there's
that, but
some
see, I'm allergic to marijuana, so the fact that it was illegal was beneficial to me.
right, but one of the huge things is we also made hemp illegal from it, and hemp is actually like if we would legalize and use hemp right now, we could almost reach energy independence because literally the first diesel engine was created to run on biodiesel fuel from hemp, like hemp biodiesel. Like it's these like I like thinking outside the box. Like I see the left and the right, and I try to be like somewhere in the stratosphere of like trying to take the best ideas of both. That's what I fucking do, right?
And I will say this,
So
like, for me, oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
So for me, like, I was raised in a traditional Italian Catholic home. We were Republican.
Mhm,
Most of my grandparents, because see, I'm from Rhode Island. And
mhm,
if anyone here is from Rhode Island, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just Democrat central. The only thing we have
mhm.
is Buddy Cianci. Rest in peace. And when I tell you, it was very difficult. I remember because see, for me, I do have some left ideas as well. I actually believe gay marriage just fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with you wanting to marry who you want to marry. I do, to an
Mhm,
extent, agree with you about the preventative health care. I believe there's some kind of universal health care. I believe everyone should get one free dental checkup a year. I believe everyone
mhm.
should get free, no matter what, you should get free regular checkups through a doctor, things like that, and a visual. Everything else you pay for. The
I agree.
Obama mandate, touching on that, let me tell you something. Part of the reason why I'm in debt is thanks to that asshole.
Yeah.
Because when at the time it happened, my husband and I had just gotten married, and then we moved here to North Carolina. And we went from not having to spend $600 a month to
Mhm,
forced to spend it. And we weren't making a ton of money at the time. And at the highest, when it was still mandated, we had to spend $900 a month. Thankfully, my husband made a lot of money at that time. Um,
mhm.
we were literally bleeding money. We had no
Yeah.
money for almost anything else. And I will attribute this. Part of the reason my mother passed away is thanks to the Obama mandate because she was just at the right age where she didn't qualify for the free health care. She had to pay 500 too, so she had to wait till she aged in at 65. Well, by the
Oof.
time she aged in at 65, the
Too
cancer was
late.
already in her bladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was diagnosed in March and she passed away 3 days from my birthday in June. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you, but Obama and I, we're not friends for that reason alone. But I
Well,
would
that
say
he
for
did.
you,
They accomplished. They like that's my thing. Like we as a people should stop electing people on promises because promises mean shit. You
they
know,
don't mean
like
anything. And my biggest issue is Obama could have done what Trump did. Obama could have opened up the I think it's a master book, and what that is the pricing for each hospital. Make those public. Force them to show everyone their prices so someone can shop for prices between the hospitals, which is sad but true. Ye could
well,
have.
go ahead. No,
Yeah,
go.
he could have made the medications, which Trump also did, make them cheaper, make them more accessible, force the industries to not gouge the prices. He could have made the cost of medical equipment more affordable, stop the businesses from gouging those prices. No, instead, what he did this 5 billion-page backdoor midnight deal, and then was like, "Oh no, I guess you got to do it now." And I honestly feel if he hadn't done it, and he had so much potential. That's my biggest issue with Obama. I didn't vote for him, and I'll get into that in a minute.
Mhm.
But he had potential to shut up Republicans. He had potential to prove everyone wrong, and instead he proved all of us right. And
Well, to be
yes,
real, to be real, he would be viewed as like how he ran in his first term. He would be viewed as a Republican right now.
right now,
Yeah.
like that's why I love when people are like, "How could you vote for Trump?" He goes because I'm bisexual, and he goes against your rights. I'm like, really? Because he's the only
No, he
president.
does not. Where did like you know what that's the fucked up thing, right? Because I obviously here's the true fucked up thing. Almost all my friends are either independents or Republicans now, because
Yeah,
anybody that was in my social circle that was a Democrat told me to fuck off, basically, because they didn't want to have open debate, they didn't want to have conversation. If I disagreed with them, no matter what data I used, no matter what we were talking about, anybody that was in my social circle that was kind of left leaning can't deal with me. I have no issue with them, but they can't deal with me, right? So most of my friends are Republicans. Do you know how many gay Republicans are, like openly gay
so
Republicans? Just
many.
like, I mean, openly gay, and they all hate, and I mean hate, like super leftist, the super leftist gay movement, because they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
we just want to live our fucking life, like you know, like we just like they're
we're not a tool.
they are people. Like I mean, like they are just people. Like I mean, like if you are with somebody of the same sex or an opposite sex and you get married or you live in a household or you just live together or you adopt children together or have children from previous marriage, like it is just people. And I don't know, like here's my thing though. Like I also think that people should be able to poke fun at other people, like you know, for shit. Like I mean, like that's the biggest issue I think we have with the left is that like you can't say anything that in any way can possibly hurt anybody's feelings, and that's we're gonna
Everything's in
get
a bubble.
to yeah we're gonna get to the other
Everything's in a
stuff too. I just
bubble.
want to give you a background, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree because my issue is it is when we sit there and we talk about the comedy issue. I am again, I'm a fat white woman. I'm Catholic and I am Italian. I know a
Hmm.
little bit about being poked at.
Yeah,
My people don't bitch. We
yeah.
understand, but I hear everyone these days bitching about that stuff. You know, like and going back to your point, see me, I have been very open about my politics with my friends and family for years.
Hmm.
And when I would go into like work and everything, everyone always knew, oh, here goes Cassandra again. Here she goes. And when before Facebook got boring and they took away all the fun words, my
Yeah.
Facebook was known for the political, like the memes that used to come up, like, you know, you sit there and you read the comments. My Facebook was that where my friends sit there and go, man, I'm gonna watch all the fights for Cassie's page, and that's because I wanted that discussion, and I got canceled by many friends, including my friend Gothics for a while because of my political views. Because I'm, you know, people like to sit there in the body positivity movement and say unapologetically you. No, I actually am unapologetically me.
Yeah, that's.
I am who I
I mean,
am, and that's all there is to it.
and that's actually where I found your content. Like I actually retweeted. I put one of your videos on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that or not, but I said I
You
found a
did.
glitch in the
I
matrix.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I found a glitch in the matrix. You know what I mean? Like because like you know. At the time, your hair is like your hair is a little just browner now, or it might be the lighting, but it was like
No,
bright, like
it's
different
fading.
colors.
This
Yeah,
is about a month in, and it's
yeah.
running away from me now.
And I posted because you were basically talking about how you know if you're fat, you're fat. Like let's accept why it is. Like what amazes me about what I do is like I'm very clear with people. Like you're overweight and you're big because you eat too much for how much you move. Now, granted, there's a lot of people that have conditions, illnesses, medications. There's a billion reasons. None of that changes the fact that you're still eating more calories than what you're burning off on a consistent basis. A lot of people have food addiction. I'm a binge eater. Like I'm diagnosed binge eater. You know, like I
Really?
mean, oh yeah, that's how we came up with everything we've done in the last 2 or 3 years is because to control my binge eating. You know, like
Well,
um,
congratulations on the control. Seriously.
yeah,
See, as a fat person, I can't relate to nearly any fat people. See,
yeah.
because I don't emotionally eat, I don't binge eat. What I do is that when I do have my meal, that one meal was high in caloric intake. I would
Well,
skip breakfast.
you're Catholic Italian. You got your plate with pasta was mounded over, and you were not
Oh
allowed to
yeah.
get up from the table. You were not allowed to get up from the table until you ate it all.
And see, I don't even like pasta anymore. So we ate it because the thing is, when you're broke Italian, what's the number thing you go to? Number one thing, you go to a thing of spaghetti, you go to thing of angel hair, you make it, you get spaghetti aioli, you make spaghetti with broccoli. Everything was the base was pasta, and then you might tack on the meat and the vegetables. Because my mother
Right.
was all holistic cooking. Like my
Yeah.
mother did not believe in I didn't eat fast food. I didn't eat gushers or any of those stuff. The only time we got them is my brother and I would take what was a new food at the time, Nutri-Grain bars and all those health foods and granolas. We go to school and we trade it with the dumb kids with the good shit. And then we'd be
Mhm.
like, hey, try this. It's real good. Gushers, thank you. That's the only way we even got to try them. And I'm actually an extremely picky eater, especially when I was a kid. I didn't eat a
Mhm.
lot. I ate fruit and I would only eat like peanut butter sandwiches. I was very scared of most food because I love my older brother, but he would torture me and he would tell
Mhm.
me things were hidden in foods. But so, like, going back to what I was saying, like, I I don't emotionally eat. And that was something that actually, as I was getting older, because I was very active up until roughly 2017.
Mhm.
2019 was when it was really bad. And that's when I hit depression because I lost two very close people in my life.
Mhm.
And 2020 gave me the opportunity of furlough. That's why I'm so big now because
Mhm.
all my muscle turned to fat because I sat on a couch and did literally nothing. Like you said, for 4 months, I slept and
The
that was
muscle turning to fat. The muscle turning to fat thing. Just so like everybody understands what that actually is you ate at the same caloric level and or more. Your muscle's probably actually still there. You get what I'm saying?
it's
Like
fluffed.
yeah, but like I'm sure there was some atrophy to a certain degree. But what happens is people eat at the same caloric level. They just don't. Their energy expenditure dissipates. That's what happens. Like age is actually relatively a small factor when it comes to weight gain. Like it's something like 50 calories per decade, like per day. You know,
Yeah.
it's super small. You know, when you work into the equation, and that's using either the Harris Bennett or the St. Jour method. It's very very minimal. What the big thing is like when your body changes, hormones can change too, and for women, hormones is even a bigger thing. But
Oh yeah, there's
and when
definitely
we're
something going on.
and I'm and when we're offline, I'm going to send you a link to like our tips and stuff like that. We'll see
Absolutely.
what we can do to help you out and stuff like that. Now,
Absolutely. Because I have to at this point. Look, I'm going to be 40 in 6 years. I don't look it. I'm 35 years old in 2022, and
mhm,
the problem with it is that I don't have a problem with you being like I don't. I tell them the same thing. I don't have a problem with you being fat. You want to be fat, that's not a problem. But
mhm.
if you're unhealthy and you pretend you're healthy, that is a
That's the
problem.
problem.
If you are
That's my issue.
Yeah, if you are unhealthy and acknowledge it, you know what? Go ahead, eat yourself to death. At least you're not lying. But that's how I just feel. You want to do what you want to do, go right on ahead with it. But for me, what I always was proud of myself is before 2017, I could outwalk anyone. I walked all of Vegas in 2018, and I weighed 350 pounds.
Hmm.
I could uh, keep up with everyone. I Everything changed in 2020 and
Hmm.
I have to fix that. So I already know I've lost weight because I accidentally was doing a calorie deficit, did not realize it. I know for a fact I've lost weight because anyone who's fat in the chat, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Things you couldn't do, ways you couldn't move.
Yeah.
Suddenly out of nowhere you're doing it. And I was like,
That's the that's a problem for me. Like when people that's why it annoys the shit out of me when people and TikTok's really bad. Like people like Instagram is bad. Like it's like different levels of bad for fat acceptance and stuff like that. YouTube, they get tore up. Like you can see, like these people that post about their weight loss journeys, like the Amberlyn Reeds, and I'm not going to talk much about Amberlyn Reed because I've had conversations with her. But Amberlyn, right now it's like April Lauren and Beatrice Caruso. These ladies who are who they're monetizing their weight loss
Mm-hmm.
for their audience. That's a very negative, very bad thing.
Yeah, I'm
And
not going to
the
do that, by the
prop,
way. I'll just
I,
passively mention it, but I can't.
yeah, but that's the thing. That's what you should do though, because it's for you. These like when people make weight loss channels, when they make a weight loss channel, no matter what, they're putting themselves in a position of giving advice as an expert. You know what I mean? People identify with them, and then they want to actually fucking then they actually want to in some way emulate them. Well, they make tons of fucking mistakes and tons of like damaging things to their own bodies and their relationship with food and all like that. That's why they just should not be, it should not be. Give me a second.
No,
I have to answer one
I,
of my
I
business
get what you're
partners.
saying. Because like my issue with it is, and this is as someone who's fat, is I understand you want to share that with people because one, when you get the congratulatory, it feels amazing and it boosts you up and all that jazz and blah, blah, blah. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem is, and I've always said this for years, because a lot of folks come to me for advice on confidence. I guess
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not trying to be all up in my biz, but apparently I exude a lot of self-confidence. Great, fantastic. If I make you
It
feel it,
should.
beautiful. But you have to look in that mirror every single day and love who's looking back at you, regardless of what anyone else says, including your spouse, your parents, whoever. You have to like who that is. You
Mm-hmm.
have to say, I love this person that I was born in, this body. I'm all I've got. This is what God gave me.
Yeah.
God blessed me with this body. I'm going to love it. And if you love
Yeah.
your body, then you do right by it. You do right for it. And that's where
Yep.
I tell everyone that's where the weight loss journey begins, because that's why I feel, and I'm kind of weird about plastic surgery. That's why I'm weird about it, because I feel like to an extent, if you keep trying to fix yourself through surgery, you're never going to find the solution
Well,
because
my video yesterday was about that, though. My video yesterday was about true fat acceptance, right? Like true fat acceptance is kind of what you have. You've accepted, like, you have confidence in how you look. You could, I mean, here's my thing. You could prefer how you look now to when you were thinner, when you were skinny.
right,
You could prefer it. That doesn't change the fact that accepting that the fat is unhealthy for you is part of that reality too. Like
exactly.
like like fat acceptance is fat look acceptance. It's not actually like it's not fat like body positivity is body appearance positivity. It's not body positivity. Like you're not treating your body in a positive way if you're damaging it on a daily basis. Like
And they
and I
discourage
like
me.
yeah, it's very it's like this unique thing. And by the way, I'm sure I'm going to get a few things like from people who are like, oh, he's only going to bring on somebody that agrees with him. Here's my thing. I can't get somebody from the fat acceptance community to actually have a real life conversation with me without
No.
them screaming and yelling their points. Like we can't actually have a conversation because what it comes down to is there is facts and data and opinion, right? The facts are being big is not good for you. Like you're in your mid 30s. I'm sure the weight you feel it in your knees and lower back. I'm sure you
Oh,
do.
way more than I used to. I have sciatica.
Right.
I had it from actually something else. And the only reason my sciatica is okay is because I was a mattress salesman for 6 years. So I knew
Hmm.
what to do to help heal my back.
Right.
That's the only reason I know what to fucking do. Otherwise,
Right.
I'd be in excruciating pain all the time.
And you can tell when they are like. I mean, like the pictures of watching Tess Holiday at Disney not too long ago, right? Like she was really pissed off. People snapped those pictures of her because the expression on her face.
It was
I know that
miserable.
I know that expression. You know what I mean? Like she is in pain. It is it. That woman's got to go around 400 pounds, and just by my professional estimation, right?
By my size, and she's the same height as me, if she isn't 400 pounds, she is almost at 400 pounds.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like, and I'm not. And again, like I'm just very very blunt and honest. That's a dangerous weight.
It
Like
is.
that's when you could step wrong on something and shatter your ankle, and then it's a real problem. You know what I mean? Like it's a real issue because you're going to heal. Like people that are that big are normally in an inflammatory state, so you heal slower. And if it's a weight bearing issue, you know, it's more weight to heal on. You know, so you're more then the person really gains more weight because they can't move around. You know,
And I
it's like
agree
this
on
vicious
that
cycle. Yeah.
because like I got injured. So I've always been pretty quick to recover even now. This was actually back when I was still working in retail. I was rushing around one morning and I always wear sneakers because I like the bounce in the sneakers. And I
Uh-huh.
spun around and I have two dogs and I have a 100-pound pit bull. So, well, 110 actually. And with a 110-pound pit bull comes giant toys. I
Mhm.
spun around. I was running through the house to get out the door and I tripped on one of his toys. And
Oof.
I didn't just trip. It was comedy gold, essentially. I
Yeah.
went poop straight down, flat on my face, and I actually burst the inside of my belly button because of the pressure of my belly hitting the ground. I didn't know for 2 days why my
Hmm.
stomach was hurting, but aside from my embarrassment, I got up pretty quickly, but damn, that fucking hurt. And the
Yeah.
only reason that mine, like, one of the biggest issues that happened to me was in 2016, um, technically in 2006, and then twice in 2016, I had very severe hard hits on my knee. Um, I want to say I cracked cartilage because there was a floating thing in there for years back in
Hmm.
2006. I was walking off a wooden roller coaster and my flip flop slid out from underneath me and I
Ooh.
slammed straight down on the knee going down an incline. And that was the initial start to my knee issues. I knew I was going to get him anyway because my father had knee issues. He had them replaced before my wedding, and I knew
Oh.
that eventually I'm going to have to be that route, fat or not fat, because it's a genetic thing that runs in my family. But I will say, as I've gotten older, when I really busted that knee in 2016, my other knee suffered as a result, and
Yeah.
I now do have issues. I'm very lucky that I have strong bones. I've not broken anything except for a couple of fingers, but I've come really damn close. And falling hurts at this weight. Falling hurts a lot at this weight.
I'd imagine.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts at any weight, essentially.
Right.
No one wants to go colliding into the ground, but I definitely feel it now, and that's something that's a genuine fear of mine. That as I'm getting older, that I could get injured, and I
Hmm.
don't. I don't want that. I liked being fit. I liked being able to do what I wanted to do. So I've already discussed it with my husband. Because again, quarantine and the whole pandemic bullshit did make it a lot easier for us to sit in the house and say, "Well, we can't go out anyway, so we might as well not." And
Hmm.
that's a bad thing. I loathe being lazy. I don't mind if you're tired. I don't mind if you worked hard and you want to relax. But I loathe when we could get up, we have the ability to go somewhere, we could do something, and we don't. That is
Hmm.
something. And my husband is literally half my weight. He was skinny for the longest time. Um, and he's still essentially skinny. He's just a little chunky because the problem was he had a very demanding job and he had to eat a lot of calories to keep up with it. And then his
Yeah.
job became less demanding, but for a while he still ate like he had to keep up with it. And when he gained the weight, I told him, we got to lose it together. So we're going to start walking 3 days a week, twice at the dog store, once in the park. We're going to get this shit together because I want to get back to the Cassie I was.
Yeah. Walking is absolutely the best way. As a matter of fact, for our coaching clients, my wife is actually going to start doing like walking. Like there's classes like live classes and pre-recorded classes along with our coaching, right? But she's also going to do just kind of walking just to get people started because most people that we have that are very large. That's the best thing that they can possibly do. Oftentimes, any type of actual real exercise is kind of out of their reach a little bit, and still very awkward. And sometimes it's not even applicable for them. So she put it out. I think it was yesterday to all of our clients. And for those of you, by the way, you can get our coaching whenever you want it. But we're running specials for the new year, and they'll be all over the place. In fact, I'll click them in here into the chat. But she is doing like walking classes, not classes, but like she'll walk along with people to talk to them, walk them through everything like that, just as like an accountability thing to make sure that it gets started. It's the best way to get started. Like we have many clients that's all they do. Like we like I think people because I came from like the fitness world, they misconstrue that like it's all super hard workouts and I'm going to be screaming and yelling and stuff like that. And that stuff is not actually productive. That is great for motivation for athletic endeavor, but that is not actually great for actual consistency of activity. Consistency of activity is what you like to do on a daily basis, and then do that do that for over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So walking will be key for you, and it's low impact, and it's the safest probably thing you could do next to swimming, which is amazing.
So someone actually just asked in the comments, and I'm going to go on right now and tell them they can't find my name, so I'll comment in the comments for you guys. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually noticed someone asked me, "Can you make love?" Yes, I can very much have sex, and I do. Since you
Yeah.
want to know, yes, I can.
That's here's the reality. People get way too caught up on things. I don't ever want anybody to think that in any way anybody that's obese is somehow looked down upon from me, because that's not true. I've been obese. Okay, I understand exactly what it's like, right? But at the same time, I also then know it is just absolutely not healthy for you. Like, you
No,
deserve better. Like, everybody deserves better. Like, thinking that like if people want to have people want to have sex, they're going to have sex. Like, I mean, like I think that Adam and Eve's sex swing goes up, like holds up to like 600 pounds or something like that.
right?
Like
I still don't trust it because you got to trust the wall it's hanging from too. And hey,
the door. The door one says it goes up to like 350, and I'd never trust that shit. I would never like the door hanging one. Like, so I would never trust that shit. But I digress. So you in the green room told me that you once were a big believer in the f your
beauty standards.
beauty
The
standards,
Tess
right?
Holiday movement, absolutely, I
Right.
was. Because frankly, Tess and I started out at roughly, that's how I've been watching Tess, because I did it in one of my videos. I did a comparison of what she looked like at the beginning of it to now, and she and
Yeah.
I were almost identical in weight. And you look at her when she was at that, she was honestly just chunky, maybe a little fat. And now she literally, as you saw in the Disney photos, she can't go like this. She has to go like this
Yeah.
because there's
Yeah.
so much there. And I
Right.
hate it because I've said it before, I say it again. Fat does not equal ugly. You can be fat and be pretty. Anyone that thinks otherwise, you're wrong.
Well,
However,
it's
you don't have to be attractive.
aesthetics is a completely a matter of opinion.
Exactly. And
It
and
absolutely is.
for that's why I tell people Tess is a beautiful woman, but Tess, I believe, has gorged herself to prove that the fat acceptance is okay at the detriment of Penny. Seriously, sorry, I do animal rescue, and I have a lot of cats, and this one never asks for my attention except for apparently right now. With Tess, what happens is you see she's gotten angrier and angrier and angrier as the years have gone by. You can't question anything. You can't call her healthy. You can't say she looks good because all of it is triggering to her. And for me, when I started out, what I loved was that, and I loathe to say it because it adheres to the leftist idea of representation, but it was kind of relieving to see someone who was a fat bitch like me and who looked good and who was proud of it and was, able to dress nice. Because I've said this before, I'll say it again. I get compliments all the time for how I look and how I walk and how I dress. And it's really sad because what they say to me is, "You're real put together for a big girl. You look so nice. Your clothes look so nice." And what that registers to me is that normally when you see a fat bitch, you don't see nice hair, you don't see makeup, the clothes
Mhm.
don't fit. I get it by a lot of fat women or even by skinny people. I take it as a compliment. It is because they're saying to me, "Thank you for not being a lazy roll in the mud." But at the same
Mhm.
time, it's really sad to me that the standard we have for overweight people is the clothes don't meet your ankles because you got a size too small. Your love handles are rolling over the top of it. Your shirt doesn't fit. We can see through the shirt because it's so tight. Your hair hasn't been combed in a month, and your
Mhm.
skin looks like it is the surface of a pizza. I literally hate that that is the standard and that that is what most people uh see. essentially the people of Walmart.
Yeah.
That is what most people are. And when it comes
Well, the
to
thing
fat,
is, the thing is that's like that's most of society though. Like I mean, like that's the issue. Like many people don't like have given up when after 2020, the great fattening of 2020 too. Like I mean, you go to the beach or Walmart and you see these people. They look like they're very 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 ill, and they just don't care. You know, like I mean, they really don't care. Like the last 2 years have beaten it out of a lot of people. It's just horrible, you know. But to her, like my thing is, I don't have a problem with how anybody dresses. Like I even have a couple videos where Lizzo did that thing where she shook her ass at the Lakers game in a thong, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Let's be fucking real. She's only wearing a little less than what the fucking cheerleaders are wearing." You know,
exactly.
like I don't. Uh, I mean, I don't necessarily give a fuck what people wear. I don't. You know, my thing, very realistically, is that when Tess and Lizzo and everybody they all say like you can't tell if I'm healthy by looking at me. Yeah, I fucking can. You know, I mean, like, yeah, I fucking can. You know, like, I mean, you are. I absolutely, positively can tell. You know, and it's unfortunate that is the message that they've attached to it, because the initial message of I am going to love myself, like it was the start of what could have been like I love myself enough to think I'm beautiful no matter what. I'm going to take good care of myself. If it was actually about self-love, taking care of your body and loving yourself enough to really like feed yourself nourishing food and to make sure you got nourishing movement and stuff like that, like it like go swimming, be out in the sun. If that was actually the message versus let me sit down and eat this huge burrito and have everybody everybody say how awesome that is. To me, that was where the conversation got missed. People wonder why fat people are seen as lazy is because of people like Tess Holiday.
I
That's the
agree.
thing. Tess Holiday has every possible opportunity to get counseling, coaching, training, eat healthy food, do all the things, and instead of doing all those things, instead of hey, F your beauty standard, I am going to be beautiful no matter what. Because here's the thing, Tess should I honestly think Tess would rather stay big than have loose skin, and there's no doubt she's going to have loose skin. You know?
Oh yeah, I know I'm going to. I'm
And
dreading it because getting the skin removal is so difficult.
the only way you should get skin removed. The only way you should get skin removal is if it is a medical necessity. Trust me. Okay.
But I have eczema and psoriasis. That's why I'm nervous.
You'll have to get it then.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, yeah. Everyone makes it sound like it is literally ripping off your arm to get it done, and I'm thinking of
it's fucking. You'll likely have to get it because it will be a medical necessity. Like once, because right now I'm sure you have some rolls, but once you have yeah. But once you have once the fat is out of that, once it's deflated, it'll probably become what's more called like an apron. And the apron, and underneath the apron, it's another reason why I fucking think that like we really don't want people to be healthy, because for fat people, there's no actual clothes that they can work out in and actually be healthy. Like the actual tucking of the fupa underneath yoga pants is actually medically kind of dangerous, because now you're going to be sweating with compression wear and inside of there, unless you go like if you are morbidly obese and you do that and you're going to basically tuck your fupa into your yoga pants. You should shower and be very clean first. Absolutely very clean, and use some antibacterial lotion and stuff like that, because if you are not, and you push that down and then you sweat in it and everything like that, bacteria can build up very, very, very quickly, cause very serious skin infections, cause things called there's things like necrotizing fasciitis. Necrotizing fasciitis is when like the skin actually starts eating itself, like the bacteria starts eating the skin, and it's deadly. It's very dangerous, very, very, very dangerous. So
it's like a lot of people don't realize that cornstarch exists, and that's what I find the biggest hilarity of all. Is you find all these fat people. Cornstarch with aloe in it is your friend. That's all I use. I'm known. I made fun of for it. Because was Cassie here? Check the floor. Is there powder on the floor? Cassie was here. Because you know what? I've been using it for years, and it's one of the best things to use because it's more natural and it absorbs well, and it actually helps your skin a little bit. I don't with somebody that has eczema and plaque psoriasis, I don't have that issue because I will over powder if it means that I'm not going to get those problems. And I tell everyone, because the problem with it is that's one of the biggest things that as I've gotten bigger, it has been difficult to exercise to the level that I used to be able to.
Yeah,
as you get older, your skin issues get worse. And I
Mhm.
have a ton of issues that are not related to my fat, but my fat sometimes makes them a little more difficult.
Exacerbates it, yeah.
Exacerbates, exactly. And going back to what saying with Tess, it does bother me that she has all these tools and she has all this stuff and she doesn't. And someone in the comments mentioned it. The problem is that all these people suddenly want to be mukbangers. And I
Uh,
said it in one of my last videos. Why is your joy so directly related to what you're putting in your mouth? I know, phrasing, but why is the food the joy? And I said, as an Italian, what made the food joyful was that my mom and my dad and my brother, we were all eating together. That's what made the food joyful. The food could still be tasty, but without having the family there, it wasn't as interesting. And that's what I tell everyone. I'm like, when I watch a lot of these what I eat in a day or these mukbangers, there's almost a sexual tendency to this. And
mhm,
that's where it leads back to someone asking if I make love earlier. I wonder if half of these women that are overweight, if they even have sex, or if they
mhm.
replace the sex with food. And
Oh, that's a huge thing.
yeah,
That's a huge portion of
and
it
they get
for a
that
lot of
back and
people.
forth from the crowd. I've already had people asking me for NSFW photos. Now that I'm getting a little more popular, I've had people ask if I can provide them for a fee, and I'm like, I don't think my husband's okay with that, so no.
Just fucking how I just some of the stuff you get on the internet is amazing. It
Oh
really,
my
really,
god,
really is. The what I eat today as a fat person thing is actually pushed on TikTok. Like TikTok is really unhealthy for people. Like
super. And
I
they sit there and go, "Oh, as a fat person not trying to lose weight, you know exactly who I'm talking about."
yeah, she's crazy.
She is, and that
Like
Marissa girl bothers me too. I don't want to narrow any one person, but the two that piss me off the most are that Marissa girl and Lexi Nimmo.
yeah,
Oh, as you've seen, I've
the
done
Le-
two against her.
the Leximo woman is she's the one that said if you don't want to date fat people that's prejudice. You're fat,
Right?
something like that. Like I what's so what amazes me. This is another thing when we were talking about the left and the right. Because here's the thing, like I don't know too many people on the right that like have issues that are like that have issues with race, like sexuality and stuff like that. Transgender maybe a little bit more. I know a few people that like have some issues with like I'll call you what you asked me to call you, but don't make me guess because that's honestly how I am. If you make me guess and I guess wrong, don't be
You
mad at
might not
me.
like it.
Yeah, don't be mad at me. Like I mean, like it's not meant to hurt you, but if you make me guess, I have to guess. But one of the things that I find amazing is many people in the fat acceptance community identify with being on the left, but they will openly say that if you don't want to date fat people, then there's something wrong with you. So if you are supposed to be attracted to people no matter what they look like, there's technically no like lesbians because then they're technically supposed to like men too. Like it's this weird thing where it's like we can't have preference somehow. Like it's almost like the talking points of these folks got so far skewed. It's the same thing as like how I've seen leftists call black people coons. Like
Context.
you have
I
a
call her a coon. Yeah. And
so
my
you have a
cousin.
racial you have a racially derogative term for black people. Like I mean, like I don't care what the term is. Like if you like there's one dude on TikTok, the modern warrior guy. He calls every white person a colonizer. Like like it's so insane to me. Like we've gotten here. Like we don't actually have conversations. Everybody's lumped into these large groups when in fact, like individuality is gone. All these people think they're individuals, but they're not. They're all
No.
flying the same flag. They're all looking the same way, and they all have the same like group think. Whereas independent thinkers don't really necessarily abide by any of that bullshit. Like like it's amazing to me how we can't just like leave people the fuck alone. Like put information out, absolutely, but like here, and I've always said this: it's your choice. You can choose how you treat your body. I
Mhm.
just think that as society, the way society is right now, like I can tell you this right now, I don't feel that. anybody should ever use the excuse, well, we have a lot of unhealthy people in America, so that's why we should do A, B, C, D. And that's what a lot of people did over the course of the last 2 years. Like, we have so many unhealthy people that we need to lock down. We have so many unhealthy people, we need to do this. That's on them. They can choose to fucking stay in. But it shouldn't be for everybody. Everybody should have choice. We live in a free country.
Statement. Especially
Right.
because you sit there and you've got a lot of people that are perfectly healthy that could go back out. And a lot of those perfectly healthy people now are not perfectly healthy because they had
Exactly.
their health detrimented. And
Yeah.
it's like you were saying, going back to it, whenever you disagree with them, you become like, if there are women who became lesbians because of trauma, because they literally can't imagine the male member.
Right.
There
Right.
are I have many gay people in my family, and I will tell you right now, if a female member was in front of him, he would proceed to projectile vomit. It's just he doesn't like it.
Right.
And my issue is when you tell someone that preference is bigotry and that you have to change it to not be a bigot. To me, it's a form of rape. That
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's how that is. You are
That's.
literally forcing someone to desire you for whatever that insert thing here. Like, look at how they treat J.K. Rowling. Look at how they treat people
Mm-hmm.
when you sit there and go, listen, you live your life, you do what you want to do, but I don't want to be a part of it. And that's the same thing. When I was 13, I was a very quiet person. I didn't say a lot of things. I wouldn't say, as my father would say, I wouldn't say shit with a mouthful. I
Mm-hmm.
kept to myself, and I was tortured by people because I was so nice. And I sat there and I realized everyone hates me no matter what I do. You know what? Fuck them. I'm going to do what I want. I refuse to have crushes. I did not date because I refused to go after a single person that didn't desire me. So no one asked me out. So I assume, hey, anyone, if you were from my high school, you recognize me, let me know now so I can feel a little better about myself. But anyway, in my opinion, if you were not going to approach me and say, you know what, Cass, I like you, I've liked you for a while, you're not going to get a chance out of me. And I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I refused to do that. And I feel like not enough people just accept that people aren't going to like you. And I was relatively thin then. I look back, I really wasn't that overweight. I was maybe chunky at best, but
Mm-hmm.
they made it seem like I was the size I am now. They made it seem like I was disgusting. And
Well,
so
that's a big thing. Like, I think we've reached a stage where it's like nobody wants to just nobody wants to say it's okay not to like me. Like, we've reached such a stage of social media and stuff like that where it's like everybody feels that no matter what like everybody must adore them. It's all about likes and clicks and shit like that. Nobody actually wants to like have real conversation and speak. And to have it be where if somebody doesn't find you attractive, there's something wrong with them. Like the fat phobic thing, like is amazing. Like I have never heard a more like twisted fucking like thought process ever.
it's
So
a
you're
way to
telling me
appease themselves. It's what it
it
is.
really is like so if somebody says in any way that being obese is bad for you, that's they have a phobia. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't want to be ill. Like I mean, I also like I'm a Gen X person. Like what the fuck is this microaggression shit? Like I mean, like
One of my
who like
favorite liberal things to say. That's a microaggression.
good. I meant it to be like that's what's called sarcasm, motherfuckers. It's like literally my native language. I can't not do microaggressions. I don't get it. Like, I mean, I try really, really hard. I really do. Like, I mean, because I know I have to like live in multiple worlds, basically. Like a lot of people that need to lose weight. I don't want to alienate people that need to lose weight. I don't. I don't. I want to help everybody. I want everybody to be as healthy as possible if they would like to be. It is like we do not stop people from drinking themselves to death. We
No.
do societally point out that it's unhealthy. We do not stop people from smoking. We do societally point out it's not healthy. We do not stop people from doing all sorts of unhealthy things, but
That we allow
we
them
do
to do it
point
and
out.
then we pretend.
But normally we point out that it's unhealthy. But because big business is tied to fast food and big business is tied to just food, we will hide it. Like for the government officials in the last 2 years, not one, and I mean not one has actually come out and said we should try to be as healthy as possible. Get out in the sun, get exercise, eat in a way that is going to make you at a healthy weight and try to stay there. Take these vitamins that are shown to have antiviral replication benefits, like decades worth of research, like to avoid having bandwidth issues.
I was having an issue. I don't know if it's on. I'm checking my phone now. I thought I was just me. That's why I was literally watching. I'm listening, but I was watching on my end to see if maybe it was just my side. Are we good now, guys? Was it just me? Was it me and Alan? Robot Alan.
Robot. Okay, give me a second.
At least it's not me for once. I used to be the one that was always doing it.
Give me 1 second. I'm roboting. I love it.
Robot.
My connection's fine. Give me 1 second, guys. Here's what I'll do.
Starsan fine. It's you, bro. Listen, it's not me for once.
I have no idea. I'm connected to.
It's fighting us.
Give me 1 second. My pixels and audio is breaking up. Give me 1 second, people.
Yay! Oh, thank you, Panda Bear. Say it again.
Give me 1 more second.
Dial-up speed. Damn, you guys are harsh. The powers that be ain't liking us, right? They're trying to stop us. Oh, I think you're good now.
You think I'm good now?
I think you're good now. Guys, we good?
Am I good?
I see him again. He's there. There.
All right, sweet. I have no idea what the fuck happened there. Like, my modem must have been rebooting.
I thought it was me because, so whenever I go live with Gothics, it would start digitizing, and I'm like, oh shit. So I don't know if you saw. I was like, checking the wires, checking everything.
I could hear and see everything what was going on. So I don't know what was happening. I think my modem might have been rebooting. I don't know. My apologies. But anyway, it definitely improved a bit. Well, I hope so. It's the best it's going to fucking be. So, but what we were saying is like I just don't understand how we've gotten to this stage in society where we can just openly deny things that are actually unhealthy. Like it's very dangerous. Like here we go again.
I was gonna say, it's Robert the Third. Ooh, echo.
There we go.
Perf. Oh, that one's digitizing too. I'm a run. It's fighting us. What's the Starsan show now? No, here's the connection problems. Fill my water back up.
So I have no idea why that's happening. I really don't.
Listen, people are saying the powers that be are mad at us. There's some fat talkers angry at us. That's all I know.
There are?
Fighting our connection.
Oh yeah, probably. Either that or we've talked about political stuff and they're just fucking set it off. Because that's happened a lot. That happened to me in the beginning of 2020, really? Where I basically said like, I came on because I did, like I said, I tried my very best to stay out of politics on the channel for the entirety of the channel. I really did, because I didn't want to alienate people. I really didn't, but I tried very, very hard to keep out of it. But then I was in Mexico on March 13th, I believe it was. I was in Mexico, and we had just gotten back from being in Cozumel. Waitress pouring shots of tequila down our throats. My wife, myself, and my son. And then we kind of sat back down, and I'm getting all these messages because I had Wi-Fi. We had coaching clients, so even though we're on cruise, we're still at work. So I had the Wi-Fi package, and I got these messages like people were talking about curfews and shit like that, and I'm like, you know what? So I posted. I'm drunk, and I posted on all the social media, like I hear there's people talking about curfews back in the United States right now, and like the government's not my mom, and I'm not 14. I'm not gonna go in at a fucking certain time. They don't get to tell me that. That's not their fucking job. I was like, let's everybody be as healthy as you can. If you don't feel good, stay away from other people. But please do remember, and I stand. And by the way, to those of you that hated that I said this, I still stand by every one of these words. Um, because in realistic terms, like, let's understand that the freedom that is given away normally needs to be fought to get back. Like, I mean, and I still
Would love
stand
to
by
tell you.
every. Yeah, and I mean, perfect example. Every one of those words, and I've been very lucky. Like very, very, very lucky that I live in Florida and I have for the entirety of this. We moved to Florida like months before this all broke out. I lived in Pittsburgh before then, and it would have been very bad. But um, it's one of these weird things where, like, I just don't understand why people were able to be so like it's a bad statement on society of how unhealthy we know we are that they can say, hey, here's this new cold virus, and everybody freaked.
I
Like,
think
I
for
mean,
me, I wanted to be like, because my father's a veteran. Both my father-in-laws are veterans. Half my cousins are in the military. I wanted to be a good citizen. For me, it was, if this is good for my country, I love my country. I will do what I need to do for it. That's how I was. And for the first few
yeah.
months, I was all like, "Get your fucking mask on. It's not that fucking bad." But I was also sitting at home comfy on my couch.
Mm-hmm,
So it didn't really matter to me. And I only went out the once a week. I didn't overbuy. I was trying to be like they were in World War II. You got to do your part and all that shit. But then when do your
mm-hmm,
part didn't end, and then it kept going, and then it
mm-hmm,
kept going, and then I'm hearing about these people who were out in a park and were 20 feet from someone who had their mask off and was eating, and then they'd run over, pull their mask off, and start screaming in someone's face, throwing spittle everywhere,
mm-hmm.
defeating the entire like, that's when I started thinking about it. So it only took me from the beginning to the end of quarantine to be like, Bafanabla, I don't fucking care anymore. And that's the biggest and it's just like, it means go to Naples.
Yeah.
And I just, that's where I went on one end to the other. And I even joined the quarantine pages on Facebook. Who, they didn't like me by the end. They banned me from those.
I
Um
just don't understand how people thought that was going to work. Like, I mean, I don't get it. Like, I mean, like, and I understand because it was everybody, and that's the thing too. Like, there's a lot of Republicans right now, and we're probably going to call this because I think we're about to get a storm here, and I think that's the issue. That's why.
Possibly. I know that I know there was a massive lightning storm here last night. I slept through all of it. And it was passing through. We're getting, like, I like to call them very late hurricanes. It feels like a late hurricane to me. Um, she's a traitor who left our community. I don't know who that is. If it's me, I
Oh my God, my troll finally showed up. It's a troll account for,
Oh,
for, for my channel. I keep her around for comic relief.
oh, okay.
So
Sophia, I was never in your community, honey. I just happened to be fat. I didn't sign on. I didn't come into it. I enjoyed some of it, but I was always a Republican, baby cakes. Um, and I always will be. And the thing is, going back to what we were saying earlier, with these people on TikTok and all that jazz, I watched them. All these girls that believe in what you believe in, they're also young. They're 16, 18, 22. It is real easy to pound down McDonald's and donuts and everything every single day when your metabolism is at prime fertility age. When you start hitting my age, which you notice, not a lot of the fat TikTokers are in their 30s or 40s. They're all
nope.
young. Um, you find out you can't do it anymore. Not even only a few years ago, I could pull all nighters. I could go a week with only an hour of sleep because my husband worked overnight and we
Mm-hmm.
have very different schedules. So I would stay up, I'd do the chores, I'd clean the house, I'd get all the bill stuff done. I would go to work, I'd drop him off, all that jazz. And I managed a whole week on an hour and a half of sleep a night. By
Mm-hmm.
the end of the week, I wasn't exactly, functioning properly. But be that as it may, I did what I had to do. I try that now, and my body goes, bitch, please. It will ignore every alarm until I've gotten the amount of sleep my body feels I have to. You ain't waking me up, and I hate it because I used to be so reliable for that, but now that means, guess what? I have to take personal responsibility for my choices. So if I
Mm-hmm.
stay up till 4 a.m. editing a video, I might have to skip sleep entirely, and that's not good. So what do? Do I decide instead to go to bed on time and get up early? Or do I sacrifice and then have everyone else suffer as a detriment? That's the thing. And it goes back to with this whole, I imagine 13-year-old Cassie being on TikTok, hearing these people back when I was bisexual, back when people were telling me that I was trans and that I might have been trans, back when I was not even barely overweight and I was not an unhealthy eater. What if I had seen these women? What if I had been influenced by these women? I would have been my size easily at 20 years old. Easily.
I mean, that's a big thing people don't understand is that, it happens quickly too. Like people don't understand. It only takes a little bit of time in order to actually gain weight. 10 pounds a year over 5-10 years is 50 to 100 pounds. You get less mobile every single year. You get less healthy every single year. That's why it's important to try to find some sort of semblance of healthy balance in your life.
I will say, Robert, now we're turning into full robot. They're asking again if it's them or us. Is it me too, guys, or is it just Robert? I don't know what's going on.
My hand's down 1 or 2.
But no, I heard what you said, and I agree. You gradually gain weight each year. And as you gain that weight, like someone just said earlier, my friend Leon shared it on Twitter through Lives of TikTok. This girl was saying there's no physical evidence and no medical evidence that losing weight is healthy for you. And there's no evidence that being overweight is really bad for your body. And I'm like, have you ever built a bridge? Bridges have weight limits. Why do they have weight limits? Because the joints can only support so much. You put too much weight on that bridge, everyone's seen at least one video, the bridge collapses. You are the bridge. You are putting way too much weight on the joints. Even I can acknowledge that. Everyone knows that. What the actual fuck? I understand if you don't want to lose weight. I understand if you don't want to be anything other than what you are. But why are you suddenly making up the science? It doesn't. There's literally decades of research, sweetheart. Decades. And so, whew. And when I literally wrote, I'm like, I found the next topic for my videos. I'm going to look for everyone who's making up their own science on weight loss on TikTok, because apparently it's a whole thing. Try turning off devices and Wi-Fi. That's what someone, Michelle F. said to do. I don't know if Robert can hear me, guys.
I think we're about to get a decent storm.
Oh, no.
So give me 1 second.
I'm going to check the radar. I don't know about you guys, but I use the Weather Channel app because I'm informed. So, no, South Carolina and Georgia are getting it, but you're not. You're actually clear over in Florida.
I don't know what's up.
Here. I'm going to cover my my town's name, but I don't know if you can see that. See, it's above you. But, oh, he froze completely. I know I'm bougie like that. Thank you. I make sure that I know what's going on with the weather because I have dogs that are little pussies and won't go out in the rain. So I have to make sure their precious little paws don't get wet.
Give me 1 more second here, guys. Settings, audio.
Is Kadeem Prestige Edition?
So I don't know what's up.
Also a troll?
I don't know what's up, to be honest. I really don't. It must be my modem is rebooting or something like that.
Maybe.
But
who do you have?
I seem to be pretty. Honey, leave Alan. He's against us. Sophia is so funny.
Alan, how long have we been together? Gosh, it's crazy.
No, these people are just. I mean, it's always amazing to me how weird and the thing is, I mean, she's always a troll, and we keep her around as such. Now Now both of us are
Well, there's no
going
such
out.
thing as an echo chamber. Well, there is such thing as an echo chamber, and you shouldn't have one. But my thing is, there is no us. I jokingly say my people, my people. But at the same time, being overweight doesn't put you in an actual tribe because I
Hmm.
guarantee Sophia and I are not the same thing. I'm overweight off of home cooked food and depression from sitting around on the couch. If you're overweight because you eat because you don't want someone to tell you the food's unhealthy and because you want to live in a world where every single day your only pleasure is the next high calorie food that's tasty and goes into your mouth, I lost Alan completely. Um,
Here we go.
if that's all the pleasure you get out of life, you need to readdress yourself.
Can you hear me?
I can. Is the echo still there? I could hear myself for a little bit. Penny, for the love of God, get over here. This keeps
Give me
trying to
one more
interrupt me.
second
I
here.
apologize. Like that's the thing, Sophia. I want you. You say you're that he's against us. I want you to really look in yourself and think, what brings you joy? Can you list something outside of the next meal? Can you list something outside of a type of food? Outside of a cuisine? Can you list anything? And a long list, like not like it's third or fourth, but how about 10th now? Readdress that before you talk about who's against fat people and who isn't.
I hear you. Give me 1 second.
I know, I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna stop, guys, because I
There
can
we
hear I'm
go.
echoing bad.
No, I got you now. You should be good.
Hey, but that's where I get a really big kick out of it when they sit there and they tell you, oh, they're against us. No, I'm telling you that joy out of life should not purely come from the food that you ingest. Food is delicious,
Hmm.
food is fun, and I said it in a video. I'm Italian. Of course, we love food, but I can list quite a few things that I love more than food. Quite a few.
Absolutely.
Penny.
So listen, I wanted to talk to just mention this real quick while we still have connection because I'm not sure what's going on. I think I need to reboot my modem, but I did want to invite you back on at some point in time here within the next couple days, or probably sometime next week, so we can continue this conversation. I think it went really well.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, I wanted to thank you for your time, but I also wanted to like let it be open for where you can tell everybody again where they can find you.
So if you look on YouTube, I've commented in the thing a few times. My name is Starsan on YouTube. If you go on Instagram, I'm Lady Starsan. If you go on to oh, my brain farted. If you look on Twitter, I am at the Starsan. I have literally, I'm everywhere. I have a Patreon. I have I'm gonna make a locals because I keep getting asked to be making a locals. And just if you go to my YouTube, my link tree is there to all of my different things. If you like what I'm wearing today, guys, I've seen a couple folks talk about my ring. So a lot of these are based off of the "Don't Tread on Me," and
Hmm.
these are not to get eco on everyone, but these are sustainably sourced wooden earrings. They're very lightweight. They are made with friendly metal, so your ears won't turn green. They are clearly the "Don't Tread on Me." These are all done by No System. So go to nosysnose.com. They are my employer and they are fantastic. But if you like what you see, guys, oh, I'm also on TikTok at Lady Starsan.
Yeah.
I use Lady because there is a cleaning company called Starsan, and they have it where I don't, and it's very annoying. When you Google me, you're gonna find the cleaning stuff before you find me. Oh, you're perfectly clear now.
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, I tell you what. Uh, and people really do like like which where what content do you have that you feel you speak your mind the most?
so currently it's on. I'm just starting on kind of a baby content creator. It's been on fat people, but where I will tell you, you're going to hear me speak on also is the pet industry. Clearly, I have a lot of animals. You're
Hmm.
going to see me speak on feminism and on traditional values and why people really are just shitting all over them. I have a lot to talk about in the next year, but I am going to touch on a lot of the fat stuff just because, as a society, the fact that Sophia's name is Fat Liberation, Being fat is not a personality trait, it's a physical attribute.
What is liberating about being fat too? I've never understood that one. That's been the
So
one. There's fat liberation and fat positivity are both ones that I don't understand. You know, like I
here's
mean,
here's what I will tell you. It can be liberating on the one hand because I am the fat bitch that's worn a two-piece suit without any issues. I will dress how I want because I want to, within reason. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. And I try to make sure that I'm not wearing no string bikini where the fupa is barely covering what's supposed to be covering. Love, I
mhm.
can't lie though. I do kind of like the name fupa. It's just funny. Um, but it can be liberating in some ways because I have used my weight to eliminate certain people because there are people that just won't like you because you're fat because they do perceive you as lazy and this, that, and the other. So at least I know people like me, the ones that are around for me. And I will say, when I was in sales, I kind of used it as a, oh, I'm not intimidating. I'm that lady that bakes you cookies and welcomes you in. And then I get the sale. So I would use it to my advantage in some ways. But you know what's not liberating? The fact that I can't go upstairs the way I used to. The fact that my sense of balance is no longer good. The fact that I had to spend extra money on a chair to support my fat ass without me feeling pain every day. The fact that I have furniture breaking, that my clothes are breaking, that I have to constantly replace them, that my shoes get compressed quicker. How about the fact that my bras bust because of my second set of tits? How about all that? It's not as liberating as you make it sound, and you have to understand that it's very expensive. To be overweight, you're always spending extra money on your clothing, and I don't care what anyone says, it makes sense. If there's more body, there's more fabric, they've got to spend more to make it. Stop complaining about it.
Well, not to mention that, but the seams need to be stronger.
Yep,
The material needs to actually be more durable. They
yep.
oftentimes have to double layer it. So when there's such a far distance in between the actual seams, the actual material needs to be stronger. You know.
And that's what people really don't understand. The broad underwires have to be stronger because, again, when you have rolls like I do, I call it the second set of tits. It literally, I don't wear
Mhm.
underwires anymore because I would break underwires just from sitting. The fat would come up, it would press against the bra, and it would snap right in the middle. I'm not trying to be vulgar when I say all this, but that's the fact of the matter is, you know, you have to accept that yes, you can love yourself, Sophia. Yes, you can like who you are. If you accept that you're fat and you don't want to change that, that's fine. But if
Mhm.
you're coming here and you're accusing Alan of being cruel to overweight people and not accepting him, number one, Alan's been nothing but absolutely a gem to me. He hasn't
Thank
been
you.
like any rudeness to me at all from the get-go. As a matter of fact, he's the first that gave me any voice when it came to sharing. Besides my friend Gothix, he found me on his own. He shared me, and he's the one who invited me here. I didn't come seeking him.
Mhm.
So is that someone that hates fat people? No. That's someone that saw a fat bitch that has something to say, and he wanted to make sure people heard it. So maybe you should readdress your bias. You're seeing a healthy man who is muscular, takes care of himself, and works in nutrition, and you're judging him because you don't like what he has to say. Maybe you should check your own insecurities. Because the thing is, if you have convictions, you shouldn't have to attack someone that has opposite convictions. Your convictions should speak for themselves, sister.
Well, that's the thing. I really think that, like, to a great degree, people, uh, like their own insecurities, they want them to be protected. Like that's the whole microaggression thing. Again, it's just fucking ridiculous. It really is. Anyway, I want to save some conversation. We'll set a time to have another conversation next week, and we can
Absolutely.
invite other people on if you wanted to, or whatever. I really enjoyed having a conversation. So let me leave it on. I thought that what your last speech there was amazing, and
I go off sometimes.
I'm looking forward to more content. And I really just very sincerely wanted to thank you for your input. And to everybody else watching out, please do understand and know that we are still, like, you can check the pinned comment. We are still running our holiday specials. Please make 2022 the year that you actually address your issues with food. Make 2022 the year where you actually try to treat yourself better. We can help you daily basis. We talk to people via our app daily. We talk to people on a weekly video conference with me. We make adjustments. We have everything from live yoga to pre-recorded yoga, walking. The show actually walk with you. So please do take us up on the offers that are up there. We have some slots still available for coaching. We would like to fill them as soon as possible and get everybody started on a great 2022, because I think the world really needs to be as healthy as possible moving forward. And Sophia, not Sophia, but and Starsan, I just saw Sophia again. We need more space.
That's her own fault.
That's your own fault. Yeah, that's your own fault. But anyway, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I will I have some clients I got to get to. I will message you a little later on today about us getting together about both the clothing and about talking again. Okay.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me on. Seriously, thank you so
It was
much.
absolutely our pleasure. It really was. Thank you very much.
I loved it. And thank you guys.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.